I am Mark Stewart, and I'm commenting on June 19th, Juneteenth. For 3 years now, it is a national holiday, and it's a worthy one, worthy of recognition for sure, and recognizing the following, that in the 1860s, our military and then our legislative victories over slavery were monumental. Okay? The legislation required was, even after the war had ended, Lincoln had a tough time. He had some bribes to pay, arms to twist, to get even northern legislators on board with emancipation. And the military goes, I think, unsaid, but please recognize, more Union soldiers died in a war to partly eradicate slavery than all who died fighting Nazi Germans, or all who died fighting the Imperial Japanese, or all who died in every other foreign war combined. Okay, over 300,000. And these were, for the most part, remote northern men who fought to extinguish slavery that really wasn't affecting them. If they came back at all, they came back after losing a year or more of their time to the cause. They might have come back maimed, and many of them didn't come back at all. We should use June 19th as a continued fight to extinguish slavery, because it does exist. It exists in a couple African countries still. It exists in China still. And depending on your definition, slavery exists here in the form of sex trafficking, okay? Forcing girls to prostitute themselves under the threat of hurting them or worse. 2 police commanders now have told me if we wanted to truly get rid of sex trafficking in our city, we could have it done, okay? One said it could be done within a month. Sex trafficking may be worse than chattel slavery was, okay? I can't make a great comparison, but if a modern girl is subjected to strange men raping her night in, night out, it's a memory she will probably never repress. By contrast, the slave in the 1840s, 50s, earlier, he had at least the hope of becoming free. There were manumissions. There were slaves who were able to buy their own freedom. And, yes, by the 1860s, there was a war to free them. The hope that was there can't compare to the hopelessness of someone enmeshed in sex trafficking today. We need resolute city governments, governments that will empower their police forces to extirpate sex trafficking. Now, adding to their empowerment, civilians ought to help, because police can't be everywhere. And I still go by that good motto: if you see something, say something. There are things that might be seen at night that are worth reporting. I can't say I've witnessed on the street a young, frail girl going off escorted by some local guy who's probably the victim of trafficking. I haven't seen it. But when it happens, we should be on the alert so that police can round up the John, probably put him in jail, but most certainly get him to turn on the people who brought him into this liaison in the first place. They're the ones who need to be in jail for a long time. June 19th is now an incomplete celebration. I would like to see it linked to something that 16 days later we've been celebrating for a long time, another exposition for freedom, that is July 4th. And so the two could be very good bookends to what I would call Freedom Fortnight, the 14 days in between. And though we can't give a 16-day federal holiday, we can learn about history and resolve to have American willpower once again extinguish slavery, in this case sex trafficking, extinguish it from our midst. My concern about modern Juneteenth celebrations is going the opposite way of unity, because in the 3 years that we've had these, I've heard speakers speaking falsities, divisive ones too, stuff coming up from the 1619 Project, which is full of falsities. Another speaker saying white people think the history of America is only white, when that's ludicrous. Nobody feels that way. We should be over this. A bad history no longer plagues modern African Americans, who are the most prosperous people of African descent in world history, in part thanks to the freedom that America has offered for now over a century and a half. Unifying is what Juneteenth can be doing, and a unity message, and one that helps continue American efforts to free bound people, would be a very good one.